Well, it looks like the clock on the wall says it's noon, so let's call this meeting to order. Mr. Sani, thank you for joining our esteemed body. Welcome here. Let's go roll call, please.
Okay. Larson,
Here.
Osterloo, Malumbi, Penny, Sunny, Genslinger,
Here.
Jersa, Allen. You have a quorum.
All right. Thank you. Is there any declaration of conflicts of interest on anything that is on the proposed agenda? Okay.
My company is working on a couple of these flats. No, I don't deal with those at all, so I don't see this conflict.
Okay, thank you for mentioning that. Anything else? Hearing none, let's move on to the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve as presented?
Whoa. Who did what?
Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Brad? It's hard to
Alright.
tell some with the math.
Yeah. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the agenda? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. The minutes of January 11th, 2021 were provided in the packet of information sent to us. Any additions or corrections?
I'll move to approve.
Moved and seconded that the minutes be approved as presented. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's see, 1, 25, 20, 21. Schedule for the next meeting is, the blanket would be for February 8th. Moved and seconded that the blanket be approved for February 8th. Discussion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Other business. Neil, what do you got? Okay. Okay. We'll move that down to the last item. Conditional use permit, Corn Palace Inn, 1001 South Burr Street. Applicant Fire Steel Capital LLC, owner Frederickson Motels LLC have applied for conditional use to convert the buildings of the old Corn Palace Inn to multifamily dwellings located at 101 South Burr, legally described, 1001 South Burr, legally described as Weaver Square Addition Northwest, 1/4 of Section 27, squares 11 and 14, vacated Ivy Avenue, and the west 25 feet of vacated Burr Street and Lot A, B1, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota. Said real property is zoned highway business oriented district. Talk to us a little bit about it, Neil.
Okay, I'm going to kind of get you acquainted with the materials that's in your packet. On pages 5 and 6, you could see that there's a letter from the broker who's involved in this process. I think you've all probably had a chance to read it. 7 is the application and the notice, and we did get a couple letters in the affirmative. And then there is obviously, we got the aerial. Basically, this is zoned highway business district. Some of you maybe remember familiar. It used to be a Best Western Hotel at one point, and then now the Corn Palace. The applicants are the potential buyers. So the conditional use, my understanding, is a contingency. So with that, again, multifamily is a conditional use in the highway business district. So you would have the right to, from whatever conditions that you recommend are on here too. So I see both the broker and the prospective owners are here, and so I yield to them.
Would you like to address us on the issue, please? Be sure to introduce yourself for the record.
I'm Justin Teasy.
I'm Jordan Hansen.
We're intending to purchase this place. Our intent is to improve the area. We'd like to do it for long-term multifamily housing to start out with. And eventually, we'll be tearing down the older motel, which is the north half, and selling it, the land, to future projects.
Yeah. Right now, it's like a 78 unit, and they're only averaging a 30% occupancy. So I guess our intent is to immediately add about 60, rental units to the market right now, which in Mitchell we need, because there's a lot of people looking for single-family places to live for themselves, either for college dorms. I got some numbers, like Mitchell Tech and DW only has enough dorms to support about 12% of their current student level, so they have a huge demand for single-family people or single-family places to live, and I think that's about it. I mean, there's a ton of jobs and nowhere for people to live in town.
All right. Any questions to these gentlemen?
I got, obviously, one R1 to an R4 occupancy type. Have you got an architect with a sprinkler? Or is it still?
No.
What do you think, Larry?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a change of use.
Yep.
Mary, she got 5 units, every 5 units you be sprinkled with a whole room, right? For multifamily or single family, whatever it is, you're converting to an R3 residential or R4. R3 occupancy type, R4 zone. Just don't get too confused.
No, they're not rezoning anything.
I don't care about zoning.
No,
Right.
I care about occupancy type of building.
Yeah. They kind of have the same nomenclature, but they mean totally different things. IBC versus zoning.
So we would need a sprinkler system with a conditional use permit?
Well, I'm not gonna say the design, but an architect could tell you, or some type of design professional would probably, you have to look at the state fire code, it's not city. Every 5 units should be totally fire separated. Or you sprinkle buildings, is what my big red flag is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Larry or Kevin or Mary.
No, I believe that's it. I think on number 6, you have to sprinkle it, so I don't have the ordinance in front of me from the state, but,
I mean, I love the idea, it's the use of the property, I don't want it to be a dead horse in town, but that's gonna be the state fire marshal's ruling,
If I could interject here, this is Brian Elison, I'm the broker, and these are my clients. The actual use right now is what they're proposing. So there's a bunch of motels in town that are currently using their motels as monthly type rentals because the market demands that. So I'd argue that this really isn't a change of use, it's just they're doing it properly. So going from R3 to R4, the use, in my mind, what is designated maybe is the essence of it, but it's already being used as long-term multifamily.
Yes, are they still gonna for that daily rented, are they gonna do fees every day? Are they gonna supply towels every day? Are they gonna do photographs every day? Are they gonna pay their water bill every day? Are they gonna pay the heat every day? I don't believe that's exactly the case, but I would let that be this board decision, not mine.
Right now, they got about 30 people that live there month to month, and they don't change their sheets every day. They just rent it as an apartment. And if you go down the line, most of the hotels in town are doing that, just to try to keep them full.
But they still have the option to rent it every day.
Well, I mean, we could technically do that too if you want.
Unless they fire separate every 5 units, then you have to walk 4 students, something to worry about. You got maybe reaches the city's doing, I believe that's the trend too, I'm not discrediting their comment. Well, I think you're perfectly totally correct, you're looking at, basically temporary uses more than permanent. That's like the year lease, that's another, I don't know where all that legality goes. Yeah, transit versus not transit, I don't know. That's, like, for some that's open interpretation, so that's what the board's here for. I believe.
All right. Any other comments? You guys got any questions here?
I think there's a bigger question is whether or not we want apartments on Burr Street, and if that's the right location for it. I'm certainly sympathetic to the arguments on both sides. I just want to raise that question for planning and zoning, is that the place? Long term,
Good question.
I don't know if I know the answer either.
I think one of the reasons we chose that location as well is it's gonna be centered directly between like DW and the tech. So it's about the same distance for both people. There's a Walgreens and a Starbucks right there. And our target audience is gonna be 18 to 25-year-olds. So I think that'd be absolutely the best place to put an apartment. Because you're centrally located for everyone. They're right near their schools. They're right near a small grocery store, and basically everything you ever need is right there.
The thing is this is what it's gonna be used as, whether we buy it or not.
I hear that.
And we're gonna improve it, is our plan.
I guess the issue that I see is you're gonna have to meet the fire code for what you're doing, and that's gonna be fire marshal's responsibility to see it. I hope you've taken a look at the costs that might be involved in meeting those codes. That's all I can say.
And I agree with the statement that most of these, all these gentlemen have done stuff in town, everything they've touched they've improved, there's no question about that. I don't want to get so mistake for our they may come and have a whole different ruling, they're gonna pay right in that place.
Right. It's not that I don't think anybody's against the idea of what, it's gonna do here, but it's just we gotta make sure we follow code.
Agree. Is there any,
Code really isn't our jurisdiction, so it's purely planning and zoning for us.
yeah,
It'd be up to John and his crew to figure the zoning or the code part out.
Will they be doing any retrofitting of rooms as far as walls or restoration like that? What's the plan then?
There'll be potentially we'll be adding some kitchenettes.
Are you gonna remove walls and make bigger stuff, or are you gonna stay all the same size?
All the same size.
Will they put 2 rooms into one maybe?
No. No, it'll still be set up the same way as it is.
what's your pleasure, gentlemen? Tough call. Crystal ball's really cloudy.
Well, here's where I see it. Technically, I think technically it's in terms of the occupancy classification, as long as that met code requirements, that's the issue is that complying with the code. And maybe there's something in the code, just in buildings that, don't require a sprinkler system, but based on what I know right now, I would. And maybe the other thing too, that would be my only issue is that it complies with code. Because technically, there's, I know what I understand what they're using it now for, and a lot of other motels, but they may not have a cooking stove and cooking utensils in there either. That's gonna raise the hazard. Yeah. What I'm saying, firemen. Yeah, they may be doing this in other places, but if they're gonna make a full kitchen, just operational kitchen, then that's what needs to be used as well. Much like when we had the, discussion came up about the showing of the shelf at one time, whatever those guys called it. I'm careful to not call it that. I'm careful to call it a dwelling. Because dwelling says if you have sleeping rooms, cooking facilities, and the rest of the very proper sanitary facilities, and one room of 120 square feet, it's a dwelling. Not a garage, not a shop, it's a dwelling. And once you add the kitchen in here, it'll become an R3 dwelling and not a standard or non-standard hotel.
That should change you to an R13, a residential style sprinkler then too, shouldn't it?
Yeah, they could go to the lesser sprinkler, I believe, and you may be.
Right, okay,
I don't know what they're gonna do with the 4 unit number, because it is 2 stories, right? It's just going up.
2 stories.
so you may be able to use R13 for.
Sounds to me like we're gonna have to pay
And
for this, guys.
They're not applying for any construction
This is
as
all
part of
code
this
issue.
right now.
I think we can
I
get out
mean-
of the way and let them figure the code
Okay,
out.
whatever you guys think. I don't know. It's beyond my,
Yeah, it's, yeah, we could do that.
And again, that's why I try not to get.
Yep.
Might as well.
I love the idea, I love the concept, we use property to keep it intact, but really an architect should look it over and make the design system, that's where they can play the feel that they're doing. Yeah, I agree with you, John, I think
all right, is there further discussion here? Or are we ready for a motion? I think we're ready for a motion.
Do we want to get Justin's recommendation before we make the motion?
Justin, talk to us a little bit, please.
I'll try not to say too much here, but I don't know which way the board's leading on this, but if you were intending to approve it, you can certainly do it contingent on them getting a building permit and meeting whatever code might be applicable to their changes. So I guess that's just one option that you'd have available.
All right, thank you.
And one of the reasons for that as well is, okay, now you got a multi-family dwelling, more than one level, that changes as well. Construction site is still type 5D, most likely is wood. So now you may get into MC cables, Division 1 class 1 wiring with all the pieces that put in, I don't know that. That's a big question mark, and that's what the architect should look at. So you got multi-family housing, you're putting kitchenettes all over the cooking center. It may be have to run MC cable, it may have to run certain conduit, it may be Division 1 class 1 wiring. When you pull permit, that's what the electrical inspectors get note of, that's what they come.
Any changes we do will be up to code.
Right.
Yep.
And I love it. Sometimes, not all.
All right. I think we're ready for a motion here, guys.
Because I got electricians that work in the town and they, you know, because they didn't think we the building, if they wouldn't have the job ready, there's a lot of stuff that's in the conduit, so it's not. But if they had permit hold on it, the state would have notified the state who are electrical inspections, then they would have notice to come. And the electrician would have pulled permit with the state. I have had it where they have not. Then you gotta go back a long way, it's not always fun. That's for them, it's for the client.
All right,
Well, I think this property's maybe headed in the wrong direction unless somebody intervenes, so I'd be in favor of having a shot at it, let them give it a shot. I'll make a motion to recommend approval with the code, with whatever Justin said there. The recommendation that the code is followed and all that good stuff is done, so
all right.
that's my motion.
Who did, Brad?
Moved and seconded that we recommend approval to the council with the code information as per what the city attorney told us. Is there discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. Neil, let's go roll call, please.
Dursa.
Yes.
Sunny.
Yes.
Penny. Enslinger.
Yes.
Yes, 4-0.
And I'm yes, too.
Oh, sorry. Yay. 5-0.
All right. Let's move on to the next item. Thank you, gentlemen.
Monday.
Good luck.
Here this Monday night.
Yeah.
No, Tuesday. Yeah, Monday. Monday night. February 1.
It's gonna be pretty prohibitive.
All right. The next item is plan approval of 319 North Main, formerly the KRRN Radio Building, Central Business District. Who's got information for us?
I will yield to Mr. Dursa, who will be representing him.
I was, contacted by, Mr. Waldner, who owns the property, and he wanted to take the previous KRN building, and he wanted to, convert it to, chapel. Basically, I met Mr. Waldner, was, just kind of a big mess in that building, because it appears there were, three ceilings in there, and dump all over the place, and so Mr. Waldner was just gonna clean it out so we can take a look at, when the junk are, so we can take a look at see exactly what was there, what condition it's in. And basically, the plan would be the existing walls, that are there, and he's in the process of, getting the garbage and some ceilings out of there, and discovered that it has, an old tin ceiling in there. The building was built in 1904. It's got a really nice looking original brick, wall on the interior that, is going to be as the original construction, and there's good floor in there. But all the partitions are existing, and, when I looked at it, the only thing that, we really needed to do is create at least one handicap accessible toilet, and, the building already has 2 exit ways out of there. Obviously, we have a couple of exit ways, and I think Mr. Waldner was planning on replacing one of the furnaces that was a rooftop mounted, unit, and, he's gonna relocate, that furnace inside the building and do the other existing furnace. The rest of the work is just cleaning it up and painting it. And restoring some of the original finish. When I saw it the first time, it was, kind of junk, but when I looked at it the second time, you wouldn't believe the improvement that's already been done just by the stuff that's taken out of it. So there really wasn't a whole lot I needed to draw up. He's not rebuilding anything other than, like I said, he's making one handicap, one toilet room accessible, the other 2 toilets are existing, and putting in a new furnace and just doing over painting and cleaning up and just a little repair work. Already, quite frankly, it's been a big improvement on the building. That building was in pretty tough shape. So, I don't know if Mr. Waldman is here, if he wants to add anything. That's basically kind of what it is.
You did add extra, right?
Yeah, there's.
Another good something back, we looked at it again. With an occupancy that didn't meet 100.
Well, technically, you could get an occupancy, I calculated out of 69.
Yeah, we're at, the size of the building was, Larry brought in, and we looked it over a couple times, as well as Mr. Walden. The occupancy type never got because the space really isn't that big, and then they also added the extra egress to do it, so I guess I'm okay with it.
Anyone else want to make some comments?
I was just going to add, before he comes back up here, that I just had the Office of History review this, because it is a contributing building and it's in the historic district. However, what their view was, since it's primarily interior, they're not proposing anything to the exterior, there would be no review. Actually, they were excited to see that most of the things, it's actually more of a preservation project than it is a restoration project, so they were actually excited to see that rather than the other way around. So, because once we explained it, no reason for it to be reviewed by the, go through the 11-1 process, the historic review process set forth by state law. So,
All right.
I'd add that for the record.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Maybe Larry or the owner can tell us about the hours of operation and parking availability, just when services are, so we can understand that.
Probably not a big impact. I'm sorry, the parking?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any parking here other than Main Street and Main Street parking. I don't believe there's anything, there's no parking in the rear. No. Yeah, it would just be Main Street parking. Ed, typically how many people do you expect?
I would expect we could get up to 60 people, but we've been having about 20 or 30, and it's being used Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings, and the parking has been empty the main street when we use it. So, especially Sunday morning, it's just a big and clear. So, and we typically go on during the business hours so that if there's business that need parking, we can let them talk.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I assume we're ready for a motion.
Not really sure you need our approval on this one, do you?
It's in the central business.
It's in the central business district, so.
Use. I'll move to approve.
Do I hear a second? Moved and seconded that we approve this plan. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. Neil, we have to do a roll call.
Okay. Genslinger,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Sunny. Yes. Penny. And Joseph.
Motion carries. On to the next one, a plan approval at Doug's Custom at 3115 West Haven Highway Business District.
Okay,
What do we
thank-
got going on at Doug's?
I thought it was Doug's here. Yep, he is here, so I'll kind of lay the groundwork and then, on pages 14 and 15 are some renderings that were prepared by his contractor. Actually in 16 as well. I know the photographs don't copy very well, but you do have that there. I believe that's a sample of one in a different town.
That's an existing building and plat,
That one's, yeah, so it's gonna look similar to that.
pretty similar, yeah.
Yep, so that's what the purpose of those are. If you're not familiar with this place, he's straight west of here. He is outside city limits, but he's within our zoning jurisdiction, so, I guess.
Would you want me to give you an
Go
idea of
ahead.
what we're using it for?
Yep.
Yeah, basically, like you say, it's own highway business, and I want to set it up for like a contractor bay type setup, where there'll be like 6 bays in there to where they're like, the building is 60 by like 200. I have plenty of property there. I'm on about 5 acres. I guess that's the long and the short of it.
Any questions?
Joe, can you pull up the site that he's wanting to go on?
Yeah. Is that you?
Yeah, and there, if you see like where there's a bunch of trailers, like right across from the highway there, like borders like Highway 16 right in there, that's basically where the building would go. Those trees are, the trees are no longer there.
So the only setback he has to meet is the front yard setback, and I believe it's 35, so he should be.
You
that's
should be
the
good to
only
go.
code-wise, but
There will be some items during the building permit that'll need to be worked through, such as drainage, and then anything John would require as well.
And I've already hired a company out of Sioux Falls, a friend of mine that used to live here in Mitchell, Bob Coomer, and they're making sure that that'll all comply.
Okay,
Doug and I have talked, and sounds like they're headed definitely in the right direction.
all right. Further discussion or discussion about the project? If not, we're ready for a motion, I believe.
One other question.
Okay.
Do you plan on having additional access, or will those garage doors be accessed from the south?
Yep, the garage doors will actually be on the south side. At this point, I don't plan on doing it, but in the future, I may build a road there. I'm working on the next piece of property, but I've cleaned it all up, and it drains really nice. I actually have a loop that goes all the way around, from all the way up my Schoenfelders, and where it drains back there and all the way around. I've been there for 34 years, and it works better now than it ever has.
Do I hear a motion? Moved and seconded that the plan be approved. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. This one we should be able to do by voice vote, I would think. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Next item,
Very much.
plan approval, home instead senior care at 211 East Havens in the highway-oriented business district.
okay, what you have is a plan that's prepared by Pitts Construction, and it starts on pages 19 and continues through page 26th. Somebody from Pitts here? Oh, okay, somebody from Pitts.
Talk
is
to
here,
us.
So I'll let them explain what they're doing.
Yeah, we've been currently working with Homestead. They're just, I think they're looking to expand, or they're running out of room in their existing location, so they contacted us about an interior remodel. We're pretty much just remodeling the main floor of the building for them. We're really not touching anything in the basement at this time, I don't think, except with some upgrades on their mechanical and electrical systems. So that's it in a nutshell. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim Weber with Pitts Design Build.
Which building is that?
It's the old Dr. Young of Era.
Okay, I couldn't place the building
Mhm.
in my mind. Any questions? Hearing none, I assume we're ready for a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the plan be approved. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. Let's go a voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 13, plat approval. Ron Peterson, South K Street, Highway Oriented Business District. Construct third 40 by 64-foot building on existing concrete floor. South of existing buildings, concrete floor, 16-foot sidewalls, cold storage.
Okay, there's two pictures here. This is at the kind of at the dead end. He owns that part that you see on K Street there, and there's two big existing buildings. He wants to build one that's all pretty close to about the same. That drawing there is he prepared that one, and the other one is I just kind of showed it there. And then there is a plat that is on page 29, just showing, I know it's kind of hard to read, but there is showing a 12-foot utility easement along the diagonal part on the east side. So that's really the only thing he has to maintain. And he's got well over the 35-foot front yard setback, as you can see, it's way back there. And it's cold storage, concrete floor, basically similar to what he already has there. And it's own highway business, so that's the reason why you're seeing it.
Everybody's got too much stuff, they gotta store it someplace.
He owns that whole piece there. Mhm.
Yep. Any questions? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to approve the plan.
Building's not gonna be 1,000 feet tall, is it?
No.
16?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I just wanted to correct that. This isn't a plat approval. It's a plan.
It's plan approved.
Yep, thank you for correcting that.
Yep.
I don't have any issues.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Moved and seconded that the plan be approved as discussed. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Now we're talking a plat
Yes.
of Lot 1-A, a subdivision of Lot 1 of J.A. Spons Edition in the west half of the northeast quarter of Section 34, 10360, City of Mitchell, Davidson County, South Dakota.
Okay, there is a rendering of this plat on page 30, and as you can see, basically they're kind of describe the kind of an L-shaped there, because on the top it doesn't. It's just kind of a lot too. It just kind of wraps around there. So what they're doing is they're kind of identifying the L shape. And my understanding is the property owner also had a house to the south, and so my guess is that's probably to help settle an estate. There is city storm sewer that I believe that goes east and west on there, and so as you probably can see the language on there on the plat there. So is anybody here? Oh, Paul's here. He's got questions of him.
Hey, Paul. Tell us what's going on.
It's relatively straightforward, but anyway, the Spons have both passed, Andy and his wife. They currently own lots 4 and 5, which lie below this, which has a house on it and garage. And the trust wants to sell this little piece so that it stays with the same ownership as lots 4 and 5.
Okay,
There's some tree rows planted on it, and they it was probably decided before Spons passed that they'd like to see it go with the home. That's pretty much the brunt of it.
all right. Don't see a problem with it myself, but, and there's this, they're aware of the storm sewer easement and all that stuff.
Correct,
Yeah.
yep. Actually, the city owns
Yeah.
that 40-foot strip
Yeah.
in between the two.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded that the plat be approved. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. Again, I think a voice vote will be fine here. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Item number 15. A plat of Track 1BB, a subdivision of Track 1B of Starlight Estates in the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter of Section 34-10360. What's up here?
Basically, there's a rendering of the plat on page 35. Basically, it's one, as you saw in the aerial, it's one large piece, and they're subdividing it in between there, basically leaving the unimproved part and the
Paul,
building
got
site.
anything to add?
That's pretty much it. Right now, Soda Exports, the building lies on this tract 1BB. And in order for the current owner to sell to them, this is the route they went.
Okay.
It's pretty much filled up with the building, so to speak. If you were to cut that view in half, that's what 1BB is.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, I guess we're ready for a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the plat be approved as discussed and shown.
Is that Kevin? Second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public input. If you need to address the City Planning Commission on an item that was not on the agenda, excluding personnel items, please come forward to the podium and state your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered, but no action will be taken at this time. Is there any other business to come before this body at this time? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Boy, that's been the longest one we've had for a long time now. Interesting. I knew this was going to be interesting when I started looking at the agenda. Neil, don't forget your minutes.